Hello everybody and a warm welcome. It is indeed a warm welcome to the south of France, to Paul Ricard at Le Castellet for qualifying for round 4 of the European Le Mans Series 2016. There's a 4-hour race that takes place tomorrow between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. local time. But first of all, in pretty searing heat, although not as hot as yesterday, track temperature around 40 degrees Celsius. We're up for 3 portions of qualifying, each of 10 minutes, and we'll welcome the GTE cars out onto track very, very shortly. My name's Johnny Palmer, joined by Graham Goodwin, who's the editor of dailysportscar.com. Welcome, Graham, to the south of France, where we have been, we're grateful to be in an air-conditioned studio, are we not? Because it is very, very warm out there. Heaven knows what it's like from a driving perspective.
You're absolutely right, Johnny. It was up to about 28, 29 degrees air temperature by about 8:30 this morning. It's beginning to soar above that now. Yes, these cars have got to be kept cool, but that's of little comfort, certainly when we get into racing tomorrow, where we're expecting similar conditions. 10 minutes shouldn't be too much of a stretch, but that's easy for me to say, sitting in an air-conditioned room and not under the glass canopy of either an LMP car or indeed a GT car, which we're going to see first. But beautiful clear skies, the radar station atop the mountain just beyond the airfield. And here's one of the cars we're going to see in that GTE session, the number 99 Beechdene Aston Martin. Quick look there at one change for this car, and that's the design on the roof, with half of the Union Jack, the flag of the United Kingdom of course, and half of the national colours of the places we're racing in the last 3 races.
So that's France, Belgium and Portugal.
Portugal.
Because we've already had 3 rounds of the 2016 European Le Mans Series. Kicked off, of course, on a Saturday, which was against the flow of the rest of the meetings through the year, but the Saturday of that Silverstone Endurance Festival weekend, really, with ELMS racing on the Saturday and the World Endurance Championship also from the ACO on the Sunday. But Silverstone was won in the GTs by the number 99 Aston Martin. So 25 points straight out of the box for that number 99 car. They are second in the points coming here to Le Castellet, behind the AT Racing car. Although, have we had an update as far as the points are concerned?
That
is correct.
That's entirely correct. What I was going to add to that was, of course, they weren't the winners over the line because there was the post-race exclusion of the car that's roaring up in the points again, the number 66 Ferrari. This, by the way, is the number 60 car. This is the Formula Racing car. Change in driver lineup in this car, with Christina Nielsen taking a break to defend her lead in the IMSA Championship in North America, and being replaced by another young Dane, 3 Danes. But this is the car I think a lot of eyes are on. It's number 66 JMW Motorsports Ferrari 458. Lost that win for a mistake made by the team, technical mistake made by the team at Silverstone after winning the home race very convincingly. Then a second place at Imola and a win last time out at the Red Bull Ring, and they're the team on form at the moment. There are 5 points between the top 3 teams: the AT Racing Ferrari, the number 99 Aston Martin we've already seen, and the number 66 Ferrari. And then behind them, the number 77 Proton Competition Porsche. That's 10 points off the leader, with, remember, this year, this year, 3 races, including the one tomorrow, still remain. So lots still to play for. This is not done yet.
No, absolutely. 3 races done: Silverstone, Imola, Red Bull Ring. 3 different winners, and in fact the other winner we not mentioned is the 4th place Porsche that Graham just briefly mentioned there, the Proton Competition Porsche, really taking it to the Ferraris in their own backyard at Imola circuit.
And something rather unusual, I have to say, I hadn't noticed until I just did a quick look up and down. We've not yet had a Ferrari pole position in the European Le Mans Series. It was the number 96 Aston Martin, a car that certainly at the moment looks like only contesting Silverstone, set pole position there, and 2 of the Proton cars. The 77 car set pole at Imola, and the 88 car was the pole position car at the Red Bull Ring. So could we see a Ferrari pole position for the first time? So certainly no dominant force out there in qualifying. Well, in 9 minutes and 15 seconds or thereabouts, we'll know whether or not we've got a dominant force here. And could it be this car, Johnny? It's a championship leading number 56 AT racing car. Now this is a car which we had a driver change, then it changed back, because the initial entry we received said that Davide Rigon might well be aboard the AT racing car with Alexander Talcanitz Jr. and Senior. But indeed it's back now with Alessandro Pierguidi, who's shared the car with the father and son combination for the full season so far. But on board now, briefly, with the number 66 car. And drivers out on circuit at the moment. It's Marco Ciocci in the 51 Ferrari. Matt Griffin was aboard that 55, the green and white car that we were briefly on board with. The number 99 Aston Martin is in the hands of Darren Turner. Alessandro Pierguidi in the championship leading 56 car. Michael Mack in the 60 Formula Racing car. Andrea Bertolini in the 66, the JMW car. Wolf Hensler in the 77 Proton car. And the only car still on pit road of the GTE grid is Gianluca Roda in the number 88 Porsche.
Excuse me, it is strange though to think that there are 8 GT cars here this weekend, 5 of them Ferraris, and as Graham says, we haven't yet seen a 458 at the front of the order for the start of the race. There's the 56 championship leading AT Racing Ferrari then, the combination of the 2 Talcanitzers and Alessandro Pierguidi, and Pierguidi is certainly qualifying the wheels off that car. It is moving around an awful lot on those Dunlop tyres and hammering the curb as well. The curbs are quite brutal in places around here. There's also, as you can see there, 1 or 2 posts that you need to be missing as well, the marker pins, but getting close to it but not too close there. Pierguidi, front left wheel cocking up in the air as he heads out onto the long straight.
And he's pushing on, isn't he? He's going to be wanted for offences to cruelty for Ferraris after this lap. Throwing the car through the turns, getting the maximum catapult effect he could get down this massively long Mistral straight down to Mighty Scene Corner. He's looking for the first apex there now. Super quick through there. Dab on the brakes as he comes through to come into the technical final section of the lap to complete his first flying lap of this qualifying session. So only 6.5 minutes to go. This is a quick fire session, of course, for each of the 3 classes.
Yep, so Marco Ciocci's already completed a lap, as has Matt Griffin. We're still waiting for Gianluca Roda to join the session, though, from the pit lane in the number 88 Porsche. We assume it's Roda at the wheel, but that car's not come out yet, so we may have a different driver at the wheel once that, if it does break the beam at the end of the pit lane. Darren Turner's completed a lap, so he's on a flyer at the moment as well, but the first car across the line looks like it's going to be the AT Racing Ferrari, and Pierguidi goes through. Wolf Hensler's already been through, beg your pardon.
So no, Wolf followed him through.
Oh, straight through, okay,
yes.
Fine. The eyes weren't deceiving then. 156.483 for Pierguidi. Wolf Hensler is 1.1 seconds shy of that second fastest. Mikkel Mack a further 0.6 of a second back in third, and now 5th Matt Griffin, because Andrea Bertolini in the number 66 JMW Motorsport Ferrari, the car we go on board with, goes second fastest, so he's 0.147 of a second slower than Alessandro Pierguidi's time.
I think probably the better expression is 0.147 less quick, but that's mighty close. Less than 2/10 then between the top 2 cars, both Ferraris. Not seen a Ferrari pole position, as we said at the top of the show. Andrea Bertolini looking quick. Darren Turner goes to the top on the timing and scoring. He puts 2/10 on Pierguidi, so the number 99 car, the fastest ice cream car in the world, is looking to see whether or not they can maintain a never had a Ferrari on pole position in ELMS qualifying this year.
Well, you see, there are 2 Porsches and 1 Aston to try and keep that record going, but the Ferraris are due one, you would think. Having had this barren spell at the start of 2016 as far as pole positions are concerned, but let us not forget that it is a Ferrari leading the championship from the Austrian squad AT Racing. There is the number 51 Ferrari working its way through with Marco Ciocci at the wheel. That's an AF Corsa car, although it's white in appearance, so not typical AF Corsa livery. 4th position for the 51 car.
Goes through with the hands of the remarkably rapid Marco Ciocci, part of this squadron of plug-and-play rapid Italians that AF Corsa seem to have in a cupboard somewhere at the back of the workshop. Basically, I think it's a wire cage. They poke them from time to time with their sharp stick, and when they're angry enough, they put them inside a Ferrari, and away they go very quickly indeed.
Sounds about right.
Still no sign of the number 88 Porsche on track though, Johnny. And I think, did I just see a Porsche moving in pit lane? I think that might be.
No, I think that was the black AT Racing Ferrari coming in with Pierre Guidi after another set of tyres, possibly to give it one final push. We've already had well over half of the time allowed, 3.5 minutes to go. And as you say, the 88 Porsche has not appeared yet. That's slightly concerning.
Yep.
But the AT Racing Ferrari has done a 156.483. That's 0.198 of a second less quick than now Darren Turner's time, number 99. And Darren coming towards the end of his lap to not improve, but he came perilously close to doing so. 156.3. Compare that to his earlier 156.2, and back out onto track comes Pierre Guidi in the 56 AT Racing Ferrari. 3
minutes, and it doesn't look as if we're going to see that number 88 Porsche in this session. Well, unless that car is out on track in the next 60 seconds, they're not going to have time to complete a flying lap.
So clearly issues for one half of the Proton competition garage. The 77 car is going, well, not strongly. It's 7th of 7 GTE cars out on track at the moment. Wolf Hensler has already managed a pole position this year in the 77 Proton at Imola, but that car looks a little off the pace compared to the Ferraris and the Aston.
Watching this lap for Matt Griffin, improved his first sector time. He's pretty close to the mark he needs in sector 2. Bertolini ahead, slower in the first sector, quicker in the second. This is going to be really tight. 7.5 tenths separate the top 4 at the moment. And not in the top 4. In fact, propping up the cars out on track is Wolf Hensler at the moment. And this car, the number 77 Proton competition Porsche, 157.603. Just 1.2 seconds separate the top 7.
1.193 of a second slower for Wolf Hensler than Darren Turner's time, although that was a personal improvement. And 3rd position
goes to Griffin. Matt Griffin up ahead of Andrea Bertolini's time, but Bertolini's on a quick lap as well. Does not improve. Is 200ths outside his best time in the number 66 car. That's about a 10th back from Matt Griffin's effort in the 55 car. A minute and a half remains. This is it for most of these runners.
So Darren Turner currently holding provisional pole, a 156.285. 0.2 of a second back is Alessandro Pierre Guidi, who now goes on to his final chance at a flyer. Matt Griffin 3rd fastest. Bertolini, the car on screen, is 4th fastest with a chance to improve on this lap, and should be able to squeeze one more out of it with 50 seconds still on the clock for the Italian. Marco Ciocci in the 51 Ferrari is 5th fastest, Mikkel Max 6th, and Wolf Hensler in 7th position. Actually, Bertolini just heading onto the Mistral straight now, so he won't get round in time for one further lap. This is his last stab at it.
Big improvement for Matt Griffin in the middle sector. This could be a leap up the order from Griffin. Only a 1/4 of a second separate the top 3. Could it be Griffin that puts a Ferrari to the top here? Could it be Pierre Guidi? It's going to be very tight indeed. Wolf Hensler is on a much quicker time this time than he's done before. He's just 1.2 seconds back from provisional pole. This is going to go to the wire. 13 seconds remain on the clock, plus an lap that people have got to complete.
Andrea Bertolini quicker than anybody else through sector 2. Much of that is the Mistral straight, so he clearly got a good exit out of that corner that leads onto the longer than a kilometre back straight effectively here at Le Castellet circuit Paul Ricard, but he doesn't improve. Clearly maybe he slowed in the last sector or caught some traffic. There's not a great deal of cars out there, but a 345 is Bertolini's best time.
Matt Griffin lost half a second in that last sector. You're quite correct. Right. Bertolini has taken the flag. He will do no better than 4th. Mikkel Mack will do no better than 6th. Wolf Hensler just beat the flag did improve, stays 7th, took a 10th out of the best time. That means that the 7 cars that have set a time are separated by just effectively a second flat. Ciocci is exactly a second back. Here's Darren Turner to complete his lap, and he's going to pit that car. So it's going to be about Pierre Guidi, who's pitted as well. I think that's it, Johnny.
So Turner in, Pierre Guidi pits having stopped partway through that 10-minute session. We're still waiting for Marco Ciocci to come around, but he's not on a super special lap particularly. Wolf Hensler improved last time around at 157.325, but didn't improve his position. And I think I would agree with you, those 7 cars are all now locked in place. Clearly problems for Proton Competition to not get their second Porsche out into the session, but it is a further championship point, it would appear, to the number 99 Aston Martin, so that means they're level on points. This is a similar situation as to what we had in the Michelin GT3 Le Mans Cup qualifying session.
Now. They lead the championship courtesy of having taken a win. And that means as well as thumbs up from Darren Turner. He should be delighted with that. Well done, DT. That means that every car that's not a Ferrari in the championship has set pole position this year.
As if to emphasise the point to what is an older car now, the Ferrari F458, and clearly the 488 is the car to have in GTE spec, you can argue, and certainly GT3 spec. There are some 488s here this weekend taking part in the Michelin GT3 Le Mans Cup. So Ferrari looking strong in the championship as far as their race pace is concerned, but that's another round gone and another potential pole position gone for a number of Ferraris in this field. Darren Turner saunters his way then up the pit lane, and very shortly I'm sure we'll be heading in, or Charlie George, our very own Charlie George, will be heading in Darren's direction to grab a word with him. But that's not qualifying done and dusted. We have another 2 sessions to come. First of all, for the LMP3 part of the ELMS race here at Le Castellet. So expect 20 LMP3 cars out on track. Fingers crossed for the number 3 United Autosports LMP3, which I know was having a significant bit of work done between free practice this morning and qualifying after Wayne Boyd lost power during free practice 2 very early this morning. Started at 8:10 local time. And then once we're done with that, there'll be 12 cars out on track for the LMP2 part of qualifying here at Circuit Paul Ricard. So the number 56 Ferrari that just missed out on pole position is being wheeled back into its garage. And there is confirmation on the screen that the Aston Martin number 99 takes pole position at 156.285, and 0.2 of a second shy was the AT Racing Ferrari 458 of the Talcanitzers and Alessandro Pierre Guidi. So that will be the front row as far as the GTE part of the race is concerned. Let's grab a word though with Darren Turner, who now joins Charlie George.
Yeah, I'm down here with Darren. Congratulations, pole position for the Aston.
Yeah, really pleased with that. I wasn't too sure when I came into the Parc Fermé if I managed to keep on pole position, because I had a slow lap and people were still able to respond. But yeah, really pleased. The car was absolutely fantastic. The guys at Beechdean have done a good job getting the car right, and we're in a good position now for the race tomorrow.
Good luck for the race, Darren.
Thanks, cheers, bye.
So very cool and calm. You wouldn't expect much else from DT. He's done his job there, and the Aston looking resplendent in its new for 2016 paint job. Add, of course, the detailing on the roof that Graham was talking about. I'm disappointed that Scooby-Doo doesn't make it onto that version of the car. You get it in British GT, but it's replaced by the Beechdean ice cream tub instead.
We've had SpongeBob as well, of course.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So there is some kind of cartoon character represented on that car. And in a moment or two, well, just over 5 minutes' time, at 1:10 local time, we will have the LMP3 part of qualifying. So Duquesne eager to get to the end of the pit lane first in one of 2 cars they have here this weekend. That was the number 19 machine we were briefly on board with. So numbers 19 and 20 are fielded by Duquesne Engineering in their very smart livery of black and navy blue. A new car, though, joining the LMP3 ranks from the Michelin GT3 Le Mans Cup. So Audi R8 to Ligier JSP3 with a Nissan engine is a big step for Nigel Moore and Philip Hansen, but I reckon they'll enjoy themselves this weekend.
Well, they've topped one of the free practice sessions already, Johnny, and we're pretty competitive in the second. And Philip Hansen, I know the team were telling me quietly that they weren't particularly expecting fireworks from Philip in this car, but were very impressed indeed as to how quickly he found the groove and was bringing his times closer to Nigel Moore, who is much the more proven article. Nigel, of course, has driven a variety of machinery very quickly indeed in his earlier career, including an LMP1 Ginetta Zytek at the Le Mans 24 Hours for Team LNT. But the team back into it now. Team RLR here on screen, and in the background there in the white shirt, that is Mike Smith, who is the car owner, and indeed the owner of the team's second car, which is also here, which we may see later this season, and certainly looks very likely we'll see next year. Also in this fabulous livery that this car, very simple but very effective livery on that little Ligier. Still an all Ligier grid this time out. We may see the introduction, should see the introduction of the Murphy prototypes of a Riley for Spa next time out.
There's the number 5 by Speed Factory Ligier, Tom Jackson, Alain Costa and John Hartshorn.
It's Tom Jackson at the wheel.
So he is the silver graded driver as opposed to the 2 bronzes that he co-drives with. And there's the car right at the front of the queue, the number 19 of David Halliday, Dino Lunardi and David Drew. They're second in the championship and trail by quite a margin actually. What's that, 33 points? That
comes courtesy of a maximum race point score for the number 2 United Autosports car, though they have not yet set a pole position, the number 2 car, which is quite a surprise bearing in mind the performance and particularly strategic dominance of the number 2 United Autosports car.
Yeah, this could be their chance though to break that duck as far as qualifying is concerned, but it's not all about single lap, well it's hardly all about single lap pace, useful to get a point, but you dearly like the 25, and as Graham says, the number 2 United Autosports car has had 3 of those now. It looked unlikely for a time at Red Bull Ring. They didn't win it on the road. But
what they did was played strategy very, very well indeed. The regulations are quite complex for LMP3 this year. Teams have got to do 2 timed stops, longer stops, and United Autosports habitually get them out of the way quickly. So what actually happened at the end of that race, which I think you and I didn't quite realise exactly what had happened, was they picked up 90 seconds and everybody else who chose to do their longer stops at the end of the race. Should say, by the way, that the end of this race and a little time after it, we're going to get a very different look to a number of the United Autosports crew, because at 4 p.m. here, and they've picked the weather for it, they're going to do the Brave the Shave for Macmillan Cancer Research, and amongst the brave guys there, Richard Dean, the team owner, is going to be sporting a very new look hairstyle, or lack of, as is Alex Brundle, God bless him.
Yeah, and I heard from Charlotte, who's the PR member at United Autosports, that it's going to be Christian England who shaves Alex Brundle's head, and Christian's plan, whether Alex knows this yet or not, I'm not sure, but is just to take the shaver, the razor, from the front to the back
and then leave it
in
there.
A single strip and then do none of the rest.
That would be excellent, wouldn't it, really?
I'd like to see it, yes. I wouldn't really fancy being Alex Brundle for the next few weeks, trying to explain that to everybody. It's like a backwards Mohican.
And United Autosports, loved ones back in the UK, the ones that have objected to their loved ones actually taking part in this, there's still time to change your mind. I'm sure they'll look fantastic in the kind of shiny state. It'll only be brief, but it could be fun. Remember, there's still time to make that call. All in a great cause, but well done to them for doing that, and hopefully we'll get to see the results of that one, Johnny.
1 or 2 smallish clouds in the sky, but otherwise perfect weather conditions. We are hearing that the number 3 car is still being worked on and is in the garage. Now, I heard from Martin Pass at the team that that car was having at least a gearbox change, possibly drivetrain as well, after Wayne Boyd lost power this morning during free practice. So the car, I understand, is still in bits in its garage. It may not take part, therefore,
9,
in qualifying.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pit exit is green. Session has started. Session has started.
That's the voice of the race director, Eduardo Freitas, who gets things underway then for the LMP3s. Fingers crossed there'll be 20 cars, but it might only be 19 because of the number 3 car still being worked on. Yeah, 3 car sadly won't be in this session. Fingers crossed we'll have the rest of them though. And the 19 car first out onto track. This is the view then from its pilot, who's at the wheel of the 19. It's Dino Lunardi, who works his
Dino's
way.
been excellent this year
Yeah.
and getting quicker and quicker in this LMP3 car as the teams begin to dial in to the nuances of an LMP3 car. Not as tweakable and as adjustable as an LMP2, but they're finding where there is time, and we're hearing some really good input last night over dinner from a man who's driven a number of these cars, Alex Capadia, about really where you can find the time on these tracks in terms of the way that you set the cars up. As I say, not as tweakable, but these things are mighty quick, and what's going to be really interesting this afternoon, Johnny, is to see ultimately how quick they are against the quickest GTEs, because that's going to be a critical factor, traffic, during the race tomorrow.
Still waiting for 5 LMP3s, not including the number 3 car that we know most likely not going anywhere, but the 11, the 17, the 21, 23 and 25 haven't yet joined the session. In fact, sorry, I'm reading off some LMP2 cars there as well, so that'd be the reason why they're not out. The 11 car is, I reckon, the only P3 car we're waiting for, and that now heads into the session. And the 11 car driven by Giorgio Mondini. So not quite the full complement, but 19 out of 20 cars are now circulating. This is going to be the busiest of the 3 sessions. And it's about picking your moment, picking your area of track to make sure you get a little bit of clean air. Dino Lunardi has the best view in the house though, first car to the end of the pit lane, and he heads across the line to start his first flying lap.
Now we've got a big wiggle there from Dino Lunardi coming into turn 1. And we've got really 2 things at play. Another big wiggle, so he's pushing hard. Have they got this thing set up to be mightily edgy for this? 2 things in play here. How well have the teams set these cars up, and who is the daddy in terms of the quick wheels behind the wheel? Dino Lunardi will be looking to see whether or not he can actually put his name atop that order this afternoon. It is an all Ligier Nissan field, so that really is a level playing field to show off the quality we've got by way of the technical quality from the teams and the driving quality in the cockpit. On board now, Johnny, down the Mistral, Dino Lunardi.
One of the teams really in form at the moment, both in P3 and P2. Panis Barthez Competition, certainly as far as qualifying is concerned, they took a double pole at Red Bull Ring with the car in this class number 16, Eric Debar, Valentin Mounois and Simon Gachet. And driving the number 16 car at the moment, it's Gachet, who has done a good time through sector 1. There is evidence then of how much in bits the number 3 car is, and sadly no one working on it either, so they know they're out of this session, and there's not a great rush to sort that problem out. Hopefully changing everything will solve the issue rather than trying to chase it and work out, trying to diagnose the problem. It's best just to take the big bits out, like the gearbox and the drivetrain, replace it all, and fingers crossed that will solve the issue. 6 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Here is Dino Lunardi then, the first car to head across the line in anger after a flying lap. A 156.145 puts down a marker, but Simon Gachet is quick to beat that by 1.2 seconds. So Panis Barthez Competition, and there is the car heading into turn number 1, setting off as they mean to go on. Nigel Moore in the number 26 car, the Tocqueville Motorsports Ligier, going second fastest now, and Serna Giotto in the number 7 Villorba Corsa car goes third fastest. So Lunardi was quick to set pace, but he all of a sudden been bumped down to 4th position.
And those top 4 cars have been 4 of the 5 pace setters in the session so far. The one that's missing in that order at this point, though I suspect not for very much longer, is Alex Brundle, yet to come through to complete his first flying lap. That will happen in just a few seconds' time. So it's Gilbert now. Eric Gilbert goes second in the number 9 car. That's the first of the Graf Racing cars, a team that's already announced it's stepping up next year to LMP2 to join its LMP3 effort. Don't know yet whether or not that's going to be the ELMS or the World Endurance Championship, but Graf Racing will come to the track with an Orica 07 next year to join their Ligier LMP3 efforts. So Gachet from Gilbert from Moore, Serna Giotto, Lunardi, Sean Rahal and Alexander Kodnio. That completes the top 7 before we get to the first of the GTEs. It's currently in 8th position, Darren Turner, with a number of the P3 cars still to improve.
And some of them yet to set competitive times. Brundle goes through though, 4th fastest now, a 155.8. So Alex Brundle just behind Nigel Moore, who's done a 155.1, 154.9 for Eric Gibert, and then Simon Gachet still fastest, but by only 12 thousandths of a second. These are slim margins at the pointy end of the field.
Nigel Moore looking quick on this lap, as is Eric Gibert. He didn't do quite as good a job in the second sector, but was quickest overall in the first. That was reversed by Nigel Moore. Pretty quick in the first sector, fastest of all in the second. Simon Gachet is lifted off here. Moore goes to pole position, 154.540 for the debutants in the ELMS Top with Motorsport, the 26 Ligier, brand new car, 4/10 the good for the moment from Simon Gachet. Eric Gibert is due through any moment. Dino Lenardi goes up to 4th. Alex Brundle drops to 5th position, but is going quicker himself on this lap. This is going to be very tight indeed. We're not going to know the pole position winner here, Johnny, until I think a moment or two after the end of the session, because these guys are really on it. 154.5 from 154.7 now, Gibert. Gachet on 154.9, and then Dino Lenardi about half a second back from that.
Apologies to Mr. Gibert, we're both making the same mistake. Enzo Gibert rather than Eric. It's Eric Trouillet and Enzo Gibert.
There you go.
Get it right eventually, the two of us. 3 minutes to go then, and the number 7 car of Serge Giotto works its way through the twisty stuff on the way to the Mistral Straights, and the Viorba Corsa car then is well placed in
He's had a
9th
spin.
position.
He's had a spin on this lap, so he's recovering from that. Nigel Moore, meanwhile, is going quicker again, and much quicker this time. 154.540 last time around for the Yorkshire-based crew in the 26 Top with Motorsport car. And he looks, at the moment, Johnny, set to extend that advantage.
On board with one of the form cars at Red Bull Ring, 360 Racing really made some progress in Austria, and they'll be looking to continue that form on. So this is car number 6, and another moment for this time the 17 car, which is the ultimate machine, isn't it? And driven by Mathieu Lehay. That's also had a rotation at turn number 1.
It is. It's not going to affect too many people's laps, that. It was a pretty quiet track behind him. The yellow flags won't stop Nigel Moore, and don't. He takes another few hundredths out and comes through to 154.416, 0.380 a second ahead now of Enzo Gibert. Correcting myself.
So Nigel Moore, a personal best through Sector 1, an absolute best through Sector 2, and that gives him a 154.416. Enzo Gibert second. Simon Gachet is 3rd fastest. And what about Alex Brundle? The 2 car, remember, has not had a pole position so far, although it's won every single one of the races. Can Brundle make it onto the front row at the very least? He's still got opportunity to do that, but time is whittling away. 1 minute and 20 seconds now. And it's very, very busy in certain parts of the track. We still have 6 LMP3 cars, slower than all of the GTE machines, barring the 88, which we didn't see, of course.
Now, we've just seen a GTE session which carries on the tradition this year of not having a double pole position setter. We've not had it in LMP3 either. Top with Motorsports and indeed the number 9 Graf car would continue that. The best placed of the cars that have set a pole position at the moment is Simon Gachet in 3rd. There are 47 seconds remaining, and Nigel Moore puts in another fastest first sector of the session. He is really putting a mark on this session. Impressive stuff. This from a team that has not been in competition with this car. They were here testing earlier this week and were going pretty quickly, but Nigel Moore re-announcing himself on the international scene in style this afternoon.
No doubt about that. 154.416 is his best time, but it could be even quicker this time around for the number 26 Top with Motorsports car. Over the line he goes, and he does improve. A 154 flat, very nearly, 0.006. That gives him nearly 8/10 of a second of a buffer over Enzo Gibert. The checkered flag is out.
He got through, though.
He got through, so we'll get another stab at it. Enzo Gibert will just miss out on another lap. Alex Brundle interests me in 4th position in the number 2 car on potentially a good one, as Alexander Cugno improves. He goes 4th, and his last chance in the session, a 155.395, so Cugno leaving it late. 4th position. Can anyone go quicker than that? Also over the line is the number 10 car of Sean Rahal, who's sharing with Enzo Potilicchio and John Fowle this weekend. He is 6th fastest.
Gachet is on a quick lap, 3rd position at the moment, but with 9/10 of a second to make up on Nigel Moore. Nigel Moore has not improved his fastest time in Sector 1, but goes quicker than Gachet. Gilbert pits and will not improve. The best we're going to see from the number 9 car, therefore, is second. Also one to watch, Ross Kaiser. He's way down at the moment, 10th position for the 360 racing car, but going quickly and quicker than he's gone before in both the first and second sectors. It's just under 2 seconds to make up for that car.
Enzo Gilbert's pitted. Simon Gachet could be on course to better Gilbert's time. Not good enough to beat Nigel Moore's time, but Gachet could be on for a front row start here in the LMP3 part of the race. We'll wait and see.
Less than 2/10 to make up on Gilbert. So Tocqueville Motorsport at the moment lead Graf and Panis Barthez.
There is Nigel Moore. And
Nigel's going still very
still
quickly,
isn't he?
He's not improving overall his own times, but he's going quicker than the cars behind him.
And pitting, deciding to bail out of that one because the hard work's already been done by Nigel Moore and the Yorkshire-based team, and Gilbert did not have second place taken away from him. Gachet threw a 154.817. He came so close to it, trying to better a 154.7, but just a couple of tenths off it.
2 further improvements. Alex Brundle coming through in 4th position, right at the death, was followed through by Ross Kaiser, who ended up in the session in 5th, picked up 5 positions on that final lap. So the gap's tightened up with the exception of that lead gap. Magnificent stuff there from Nigel Moore to take that pole, his first pole position in LMP3, the first pole position for Tocqueville Motorsport, 154.006, 8/10 of a second quicker than the number 9 Graf Racing car of Enzo Gilbert. Simon Gachet and Alex Brundle in the Panis Barthez and United Autosports number 2 Ligiers complete the second row before we get to Ross Kaiser, Alexandra Cognaud in the 6 and the 18 cars respectively. That was fast and furious stuff.
It certainly was. Nigel Moore, still only 24 years old, from Tocqueville in the UK. That's where the team name comes from. He was 2007 Ginetta Junior champion, 2008 Ginetta G50 Cup champion, and the 2010 Formula Palmer Audi champion, and he's really done the business here. Of course, Le Mans experience, as Graham Goodwin mentioned in the session itself, and he's lost none of that talent, going quicker by nearly 8/10 of a second than the rest of the field. Nigel Moore sharing with Philip Hansen this weekend in the number 26 Tocqueville Motorsports Ligier, a 154.006, securing LMP3 pole position from Enzo Gilbert, who will start from the front row in P3. Simon Gachet gave it his all, but just fell short by a couple of tenths. He'll start 3rd from the best placed United Autosports Ligier, the number 2 of Alex Brundle. Sadly, we didn't see the 3 in that session, with quite a bit of work to be done on that car, but Brundle will start 4th. Ross Kaiser for 360 Racing will start in 5th position in the number 6 car, and Alexander Cugno, as Graham said, for YMR, the M Racing car, will start in 6th position. 1 or 2 didn't go quicker than the GTE cars, I should say. Cars number 8, 4 and 3 with a little bit of pace to follow. 3 we didn't see. The 8 and the 4 cars with a bit of pace to find between now and the race tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
And it's a mark of the dominance there. Now remember, these are spec cars. There are things you can adjust, but not that many. And Nigel Moore there set the fastest sector times in all 3 sectors. So if he was compromising in some area, it certainly didn't show in his speed. The tight and twisty against the full out, throw yourself down the Mistral. Nigel dominated in all 3 of those sectors. So an exceptional qualifying run there from the young Englishman.
Plane coming into the local airport, a little bit sideways at times, so there is a breeze. As you can see, 1 or 2 people's hairs rustling in the breeze as well, watching from a great sight on the top of the pit garages overlooking the main straight. So warm day, but aerodynamically there is something to think about as far as the teams are concerned, setting these cars up well.
Well, if you're Alex Brundle, you get up there and do that for the last time for a while.
That's true, yeah, getting your hair rustling in the breeze, yes, indeed. Well, the side bits will be okay. If Christian England's got anything to do with it, he's talking about a strip right down the middle of baldness, which would not be a good look. Let's admit it. Anyway, we'll move on in a moment with 10 further minutes of LMP2 qualifying, and 12 cars, all being well, will head out onto the track, this 5.8 kilometre circuit in the south of France. We're about 40 k's east of Marseille here at Circuit Paul Ricard, Le Castellet. And it's a high-tech test track as it's built, which provides an awful lot of challenge for both car and driver, all sorts of different types of corner together with the Mistral straight, but it's a great place to come racing too. And
increasingly popular with the major series in Europe as being a place that we see international GT and endurance racing.
So just before we move on to the LMP2 part of qualifying, we will have a chance to catch up with the man that did the business in LMP3, joining Charlie George now.
Yes, I am down here with Nigel Moore. Well, that's a way to make an entrance to ELMS, isn't it? Pole position.
Yeah, I can't ask much better than that. You know, we've only had the car a month or so. Second test day was here on Wednesday with the car, but no, really happy with it. Got to grips with it reasonably well. But no, first practice one to be the quickest, FP2 thereabouts. For the main one to be, this is a good entrance. Yeah, very happy.
And talk to us about the circuit. Is this a good one for you? Have you raced here much before?
I think it's a good one for everyone. It's a really nice circuit. The sun's out, nice location, and I'm really happy to be here. Really glad to have come in, join the championship at this one, and no, the circuit's amazing. Absolutely love it.
Best of luck for the race.
Big thank you to everyone at Top of Motorsport as well. Cheers.
And he and Philip Hansen will share the drive tomorrow for the 4 hours of Le Castellet. It's just the two of them though, isn't it? Nigel Moore's the silver and Philip Hansen the bronze, so they'll be putting a fair bit of stint time in, and will be very, very interesting to see where that car can finish up against it. I think it's fair to say, as far as the number 2 car is concerned, but it might be able to take a battle to that car. We've not really seen that car truly challenged, I don't think, this year, the number 2 car, with 3 wins on the bounce.
Not over a race distance, I think it's fair to say. They've had too much pace across the 3 drivers, the 2 for the opposition. But it's going to be interesting. So there you go. That's a second of the 2 classes where we maintain the tradition this year, Johnny, of not having a team having set a second pole position. Are we going to get a third? Because guess what? In LMP2, we haven't had a double pole position from any team there either. Thierry by TDS setting pole position at Silverstone the opening round. Then the Dragon Speed Orica 05 did the same at Imola. Panis Barthez with their Ligier got pole position at the Red Bull Ring with this car in the hands of Paul-Luc Chatin. But the car we saw just a moment ago, which leads the championship with 58 points, the G-Drive Racing, the mighty 38 Gibson Nissan, has not set pole position yet, has seen its lead bitten into pretty substantially by the Thierry by TDS Orica 05. Quick glimpse there of the number 48 Murphy Prototypes Orica 03R, the old lady now, the 03R, with many of the cars, most of the other cars now the more modern coupe designs. But the car that leads the championship, number 38, has not yet finished off the podium, but against that we've seen a pole position and 2 race wins now to home in on that total from the number 46 car, Thierry by TDS. But one of the big stories so far this weekend, Johnny, is this car. Looking at now, this is the 33 Eurasia Orica 05, and well, just over 24 hours ago, most of this car basically was in a bucket.
Yes, indeed. And they've worked incredibly hard to get that car looking like an Orica 05 once more. What of Poo Jun Jin though? He is back in the garage.
He's back in the garage. We should explain, big shunt for Poo Jun Jin in the bronze driver test 2 days ago. Hurt himself, some shoulder ligament damage and some cranial bruising. Not very pleasant, but he's in good spirits, is back with the team and enjoying his day, but will not be taking any further part in the weekend. Dragon Speed here. This is going to be another major contender. Nico Lapierre, the very quick wheelman aboard the number 21 car, ran very well indeed, this car at the Red Bull Ring, until that remarkable moment with Ben Hanley, wasn't it, into the pit wall on the exit from pit lane. So 2 Orica 05s there, nose to tail, as the pit lane is open for qualifying and out they go.
So, Andrea Pizzitola at the wheel of the number 25. We have Dimitri Engelbert driving 28. Leo Roussel in the Pegasus Racing 29 car. Stefano Caletti at the wheel of the number 32. SMP Racing BR01. Who else is that? Guido van der Garde in the 38. G-Drive Racing Gibson. And then we have cars 41, 46 and 48 all heading out as well. Nathaniel Breton, Matthias Besch and Kevin Chekon, who is taking part in his first ELMS action of his career.
Indeed he is. GP2 racer, 2011 AutoGP champion. These are the cars that previously raced in A1GP, and a GP3 race winner last year, but this will be his first race of the season. He'll be aboard the 38. This is the 33 Eurasia car getting ready to go. 2-driver squad, as we said a little earlier. Additional driver for the car, the lead of this group at the moment, we'll talk about in a little wee while, the 46 Thierry by TDS car, and behind that car, the 28 car, the black, red and white car, the number 28 EDEX Sport car, brings the sonorous tones with Judd V8 back to the European Le Mans Series. We had the first ever all-Nissan V8 engined class in the modern ELMS last time out at the Red Bull Ring, with EDEX Sport having another commitment in another series with a GT programme they run, but they're back, and we get the lovely tones of the Rugby built Engine Developments Limited Judd V8 back, and they're welcome. The 46 car goes across the line to start the fast lap, first fast lap for Matthias Besch. And Besch will be joined, together with Pierre Thirier, his season-long partner in this car, for this race only, by Toyota factory driver Mike Conway, a man with no little LMP2 form and experience. Hirakawa on Super GT duty back in Japan this weekend, big race there. And that, to me, Johnny, looks like, with Pierre Thirier on fine form this year, looks like a really tough challenge for the mighty 38 from G-Drive. And there's no room now for these teams to come away from a race weekend in the final three with a nil score.
No, absolutely, but it's so tricky to perform consistently across all 6 races. Now that the championship is a 6-round affair, you can almost afford one off weekend. But
Thirier by TDS had one of those, of course, at Silverstone, failure.
They've kind of played that joker already, haven't they, in the opening round? So then you're playing catch up from that point on. At least we don't have bad weather to work into the mix this weekend. It's going to be glorious sunshine until Sunday evening. And often that can be an issue in places like Austria and, well, I'm remembering back to Estoril, the back end of last year, which was treacherous.
So Simon Dolan found the wet weather, didn't he? Who's in the lead of the race. Thirier by TDS team have not had the best of luck here in the past, suffering a big problem when the team opted to take the car a couple of seasons back from pit road into one of the pit garages. It turned out to be one of the technical pit garages, and I believe we're excluded for that. Certainly got a mighty penalty for it. So we're waiting to see who comes through. Matthias Besch comes through, sets the quick times of 1:47.272. That's way ahead of anybody else's effort so far. 1.7 seconds ahead of Dimitri Engelbert in the number 28 EDEX Sport car. Kevin Chechon, though, just takes, would you believe, 5 thousandths of a second out of that advantage. So it's 46 from the 48 Murphy Prototypes Orica 03R at the moment. Then EDEX Sport, Andrea Pizzitola, Leo Roussel in the number 29 Pegasus Morgan. Guido van der Garde getting up to speed at the moment, not putting in a representative lap. So Besch has put down the marker. Nico Lapierre in the number 21 Dragon Speed Orica goes through, also in the 1:47s, but 7/10ths back at the moment from Besch, who is driving very well indeed at the moment.
Yeah, the 46 Thirier by TDS Racing car taking pole position at Silverstone. I'm a bit puzzled though by the drivers' standings, because the 3 guys driving the TDS car didn't get the points for pole position at Silverstone. It actually went to the SMP Racing squad. Julien Lial and Stefano Caletti, of according to the drivers' part of the classification of the championship. Not sure whether there was some kind of infringement there. Anyway, Matthias Besch could be on course for that car's second pole position of the season. And a 1:47.272 is the time to beat right now. It looks like Besch will beat that. He does, a 1:47.033. So that's now 0.929 of a second quicker than Nicolas Lapierre, who has had a pole position so far this year as well. That happened at Imola for Dragon Speed Racing. Nathaniel Berton goes third fastest in the number 41 Greaves Ligier. Stefano Coletti in the 32 car now fourth fastest. Kevin Chekon is fifth quickest, and Dimitri Enjolbert in the number 28 Edex Sport Racing Ligier with its Judd engine, that is sixth fastest.
Guido van der Garde goes through, but only a 1:49 so far for the number 38 car, ninth quickest. Besch from Lapierre. Lapierre about to complete his second flying lap, then Nat Berton in the Ligier. The first the Ligier's through, then the BR01, then the older Orica, the Murphy Prototypes car, the 48 car. So what response will we see from Nicolas Lapierre? At the moment, 9/10 of a second down on Matthias Besch's improved offering. He halves that, it's 0.481 now for Lapierre. Goes through to 1:47.514. So Orica from Orica, 46 from 21. TDS, Thierry Bar TDS from Dragon Speed, and then Nat Berton in the Greaves Motorsports Ligier that we can see there just behind the 33 Eurasia car, with Tristan Gomondy, I think, about to post his first significant time.
Matthias Besch holds on to pole position for the moment, but that advantage has been halved by Nicolas Lapierre. 1:47.0 plays 1:47.5. And then Nat Berton in the 41 Ligier running in third position, who are waiting to improve. The 40 car driven at the moment by Tracy Crone is in 13th position, so he has one LMP3 car, that of Nigel Moore, that is quicker than the 40 car. 11th place in P2 Leo Roussel, 10th place Guido van der Garde, looking for quite a bit of improvement there for the G-Drive Gibson. Paul-Luc Chatin in the number 23 Panis Barthez Competition car, the car that got pole position at Red Bull Ring just a month ago, languishing down in 9th place, but still opportunity to improve. 2 minutes to go. Some of the cars will squeeze one more lap out of it, some of them two. And this Dragon Speed Orica is nearing the end of its lap, so it will certainly squeeze one more out of it. They're doing, as I say, 1 minute 47-48 second laps.
And this is a team that's already committed to new car for next year. In fact, 2 new cars for next year. 2 new Oricas will arrive with the Dragon Speed team, now going to be based in Europe, with team principal Elton Julian having made that move to the south of France, not very far away from where we are here today, actually. Looking for where those improvements are going to come. It's an improvement in the first sector time from Guido van der Garde. He does need to make some ground up here, though.
32.6 through sector 1, which is it's decent. Certainly the quickest time through there is a 31.9, so he's about 0.3 of a second shy.
That's 7/10.
7/10 of a second shy, and yeah,
it's not good enough.
This is too far out of reach, but I mean, they want to start on the front 2 rows.
They most certainly do. That's amongst the people, that the drivers at the moment that prevented them from doing that. It's an impressive opening gambit from Kevin Chekon. Chekon, isn't it? Chekon.
You went and asked him.
I did, and I still can't remember.
Chekon, you told me.
Chekon.
We'll stick with that.
We'll check on Kevin. That's the best way to do it. But 5th quickest, so on the 3rd row at the moment for the number 48 Murphy Prototypes team. Greg Murphy will be rubbing his hands in glee at another potential find here for the team.
Half a minute to go, and Matthias Besch will squeeze one more out of this. Now, is he going to push? Because that was a really slow lap from Matthias Besch, a 2:03.4, but he already looks to be on it. So one final last gasp opportunity to cement this pole position. He's got 0.5 of a second just under to play with back to Nicolas Lapierre, but Lapierre must have a plan up his sleeve as well. The thing is, he's got to cross the line in the next 4 seconds, and he may just miss out on that. Not really on a special lap. The checkered flag goes out, and Lapierre has not managed to cross the line. So it's all about this lap to see whether Lapierre can improve, and he's not set a personal best through sector 1 or 2.
Pizzitola, though, does improve to 5th position for the Algarve Pro Ligier. The number 25 car up to 5th. Guido van der Garde didn't improve but did go through to start this lap, so it's going to be interesting to see. He's not improved his first sector. I think they're in a bit of trouble here, Johnny.
9th place for the Jeep Drive Gibson, and what of Lapierre, still in sector 3 somewhere, waiting for him to cross the line. He may decide to pit. In fact, as I say that, he does, so clearly knew he wasn't on anything special there. Checkered flag being shown to Tracy Crone, who in the end is quicker than Nigel Moore. So we have this solid bank of LMP2 cars now on our timing screen from 1st down to 12th. Lapierre is done and already in the pit lane. Tracy Crone crosses the line, so that's his qualifying session completed. Paul-Luc Chatin for Panis Barthes Competition goes over the line, no better than 10th for the 23 car. That car was started from pole, remember, in Austria.
Last time out, so it's a big turnaround for them from top to almost bottom of the pile.
There is Lapierre climbing out of the Dragon Speed car. The Greaves machine has backed off. That's Nat Berton, who won't get another stab at it and clearly thinks this lap's not up to much, so no better than 3rd position for the Frenchman on board the 41 Greaves Motorsport Ligier in 3rd place. Now Stefano Coletti showing no real signs of improvement. Pizzitola put in a good time last time around. He's 148.8 that time, but his best lap actually came on his 5th of 6 laps, and a 148.684 puts Pizzitola 5th quickest.
Besh pits and will be the pole position man, so that will be the first time we've seen a double pole in any class this year.
That's right, with the 46 car starting from the front at Silverstone as the season kicked off in April. So our first repeat pole sitter, and we're still waiting for Kevin Chekon to cross the line in the number 48 Murphy Prototypes Orica 03R. But standing on the side pod now as the car is weighed, and also a chance to get some photographs as well of Matthias Besch stood on the side of the car. It's in the scrutineering bay, as you can see, so 1 or 2 checks to be done, but Matthias will not concern himself about that. He'll work his way towards Charlie George for a catch up in a moment, but we can relive the lap that he managed to get the quickest time of anybody, a 147.033 then for the Thierry by TDS Racing Orica 05. I'm remembering back a number of years now to Paul Ricard, where the 46 crew had an absolutely disastrous meeting here. Wheel fell off the thing, and just everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Well, it started pretty well for the home crew here at Paul Ricard. Matthias Besch setting the time, and he's now with Charlie George.
Yes, I am down here with Matthias. Congratulations. The team must be very happy with that pole position.
Yeah, really happy. Start of the season was great with a great pole on the wet, then just missed the pole 2 times for nothing. And in my head I was really, all the summer I was like, okay, I need to go back and get some pole, and it's important, you know. And today we do it with a good margin also to our competitors. And just thank you to the team, because they gave me an amazing car and we work really well and together. So yeah, it's just amazing feeling.
Good luck for the race.
Thank you.
Matthias Besch, not only is he quick, but he's a real racing enthusiast as well. Out in a Renault Clio in the Dubai 24 hours.
Absolutely.
He'll drive anything, won't he?
It's great fun as well. And the other significant part about that brings the gap down to 6 points now in the points difference in LMP2 and for the overall championship, of course. And what that means is that should we see a 1-2 in favour of the 46 car, that the 38 car will lose the championship lead if the 38 car finishes second to the 46. So it's a significant change in the balance at this stage, and these things matter when you're playing those mind games on pit lane.
25 points for the win, 18 points for second place. So as Graham says, the championship leaders are now catchable even just in the gap of first to second. So some fabulous qualifying action there. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. There was action aplenty, including 1 or 2 cars spinning down at turn 1 and further around the lap at the end of the Mistral Straight as well. Well done to Nigel Moore in the 26 car. The Tockwith Motorsports crew making their debut in LMP3 and in the ELMS, but taking pole position at the first chance they had. Also, Darren Turner doing a cracking job in the number 99 Aston Martin to take pole in GTE. But here's confirmation of how the LMP2 cars will start from the front row. Thierry by TDS Racing setting the time of 1:47.033. Besh, as we know, did that effort, and he'll start alongside Nicolas Lapierre, or whoever Dragon Speed decides to start the 21 car. But Lapierre set the qualifying pace of 1:47.514. The second row will be cars 41 and 32. Greaves and their Ligier versus the SMP Racing BR01. Nathaniel Berton did a 1:48.420 for Greaves, and for SMP Racing 1:48.596 from Coletti. So there is the rest of the grid for you, together with the GTE cars. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to be around for the race tomorrow from 2 o'clock.